tackle on the first down run by Luke O'Connell. O'Connell gives up the middle. Short gain by Hunter Jennings. Had a chance to stop by sprint football practice on Farragut Field, right on the banks of the Severn River this week. Had a good conversation with Navy's sensational junior quarterback. Hunter talking about how important it was to play well tonight on senior night, honoring the 15 seniors that he said has meant so much to this program, a program built on culture, but really saying this group of seniors taking that culture up another notch this season. Play action, off to the right side. Jake Berger knocked out of bounds. And Berger with a first down as the midshipmen continue to move the chains after recovering the onside kick. Have it now at the 24-yard line. 1st and 10. 10:44 remaining in the first quarter. Navy leads at 7-0 on a 2-yard touchdown run by Hunter Jennings after the interception by Owen Erker, the senior defensive back. One of the 15 Navy seniors honored down on the field before the game. In motion, Samarian Threet, as Broderick Friedman, the sophomore running back, is in sweats on the field down on the sidelines, so he will not be playing. So that means some more playing time for Samarian Threet, the freshman running back from Cardinal O'Hara High School in Buffalo. So the illegal motion penalty on the mids pushes it back to the 29-yard line. Actually, a false start. Stay in the same offensive set. That's Jennings in motion. Fakes it to him. O'Connell goes out the other way. The pass is complete and out of bounds. Grant Sturkey, senior wide receiver from Knoxville, Tennessee, gets back a bunch of that yardage, but again, another flag on the play. Bunch of penalties early in this one. So it's a block in the back against the midshipmen. Second penalty of this offensive series. Navy has won all 6 games in this series with Caldwell since the Cougars came into the Collegiate Sprint Football League back in 2017, the first time these two teams played. The mids pushed back to the Caldwell 39-yard line. Just under 10 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Only one play offensively so far for Caldwell, and it was an interception that the midshipmen converted into points. Nakiri in motion. They give it to him. The shovel pass up ahead. Biamungo Nakiri, sophomore wide receiver from nearby Baltimore. So you got a lot of family and friends that are able to make the trip up the PW Parkway, Interstate 97, briefly on Route 50 to Rao Boulevard, right here to the corner of Rao Boulevard and Taylor Avenue. Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, historic, just off the yard here at the United States Naval Academy. Second down and about a mile to go. The midshipmen need to get all the way to the 14-yard line for a first down after all those penalties. Flushed out of the pocket, O'Connell fakes it. It's going to keep him himself, and he's run down nicely. Big tackle by Damian Tavares, sophomore linebacker from Pasco, Washington. One of the few players on the field for Caldwell head coach Louis Matsakis, who are not from New Jersey. They really recruit their home state, New Jersey, hard. Caldwell, New Jersey, just outside of Newark. Second-year head coach Louis Matsakis was an assistant for Mark Stoops, most recently at the University of Kentucky. Special teams, airing it out down towards the 10-yard line. It goes incomplete. O'Connell trying to find E.B. Denson, the sophomore wide receiver. It'll be fourth down, and the midshipmen will punt for the first time with senior punter Aaron Harris. Harris averaging 43 yards a punt this season. Back deep for Caldwell is Joey Cicatelli. Cicatelli's going to let that one go. And it takes a nice roll for the midshipman down at the 10-yard line. And that's where Caldwell will get the ball back, seemingly for the Cougars, feeling like an eternity after the interception on the first play from scrimmage that Navy turned into 7 points, and then Navy getting the ball in the outside kick. But this Caldwell defense had to go right back out on the field, and they stopped Navy, forcing them to punt for the first time. Mentioned the quarterback, the sophomore, Cale Zabrowski. Keanu Jimenez, his lone running back, throws it off on the far sidelines. And I believe it was caught getting his feet down. Nice catch. Arjun Petgrave, the senior from Cranford, New Jersey. The first down for Caldwell as they get right back up on the ball. Zabrowski hands it off up the middle. And that core of Navy linebackers led on that play by Christian Conley from Antioch, California. What a story for the Navy junior. Was enlisted in the Navy for 2 years before going to the Navy Prep School in Newport, Rhode Island, and finding himself as one of the leaders on this Navy defense, along with Jake Walensky at linebacker for Navy, and also Sam Stotler. They've really led this Navy defense. Jake Walensky averaging almost 10 tackles a game. He's Navy's leading tackler. So the penalty against Caldwell pushes him back 5 yards, 2nd down and 15. 7 minutes to go. Zabrowski in the flat to the near side to Cicatelli again. Cicatelli cuts it back up the middle and gets good yardage out to the 32-yard line. For Joey Cicatelli, senior 5'10" wide receiver from Parsippany Hills High School. Early tempo for Caldwell. The sophomore rifles it out. And another first down out to the 45-yard line. Again, Arjun Petgrave makes the catch. So you can see why it was a huge week last week for Cale Zabrowski against Cornell, coming in the second half, throwing for a school record 305 yards in the second half. Passed for a school record 337 yards and 3 touchdowns, completing 18 of 32 passes, earning not only CSFL Player of the Week honors, but also for the sophomore Rookie of the Week honors. And moving the ball now, so not flustered by that interception on the first series, has his Cougars out near midfield now at their own 47-yard line. Zabrowski has time to throw in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Josh Smith. Smith went up high to try to bring that one down. On coverage for the midshipman, Owen Erker. Senior defensive back with the big interception. 3rd and long. It's what Navy defensive corner Tony Verducci really likes this situation. Gives him a lot of options to dial up, especially for the linebacker core I just told you about. We'll see if they bring the blitz. They bring pressure down the far sidelines. It goes incomplete. Arjun Petgrave arguing that he had been held on the play, but good coverage down the far sidelines for the midshipman. Sean Betway, junior defensive back from Altoona, Pennsylvania. It goes incomplete. So the Navy defense bends but doesn't break. They stop the Cougars at midfield. And it looks like the Cougars are going to go for it on fourth down. Trailing 7-0 with 5:22 to go in this first quarter. Now they're going to drop back into a punting formation and will punt the ball. Seamus Carrasco is back deep for the midshipman. He will field it at his 15, right up the middle. Carrasco can't break the tackle, had his jersey grabbed onto. Brought down by the punter, the quarterback, Cale Zabrowski. And the midshipmen return a punt of their own. And we'll start with what is going to be their worst field position so far on this night, that saw them start at the 19-yard line after the Urker interception, and then at midfield on the next series on the onside kick. That series was stopped. They had to punt it away, and now after a Caldwell punt, the midshipmen return out to the field. Offensively, Biamungo Nakiri to the bottom of your screen, along with Jake Berger. O'Connell gives to Hunter Jennings, the junior running back, averaging 8 yards a carry. Every bit of that and more. Picks up 12 yards on this carry, out to the 35-yard line, and a first down for the midshipmen. Hunter Jennings from Linton, Indiana. All Collegiate Sprint Football League first-team running back last year. Averaging 153 yards a game this year. He will once again be a first-team All-Leaguer, and most likely again next year. So he is well on his way to being one of the finest running backs in recent history in the Collegiate Sprint Football League for the midshipmen. Already with a touchdown here tonight. Runs the ball off to the left side of that Navy offensive line. Will Trechter and Brendan Fletchell open up those holes, along with center and captain Kerry Johnson. The greatest honor, the highest honor a Navy athlete can receive is to be chosen as a captain. Kerry Johnson, Navy's offensive captain, the center, and Seamus Carrasco just fielded that punt, serving as the defensive captains. They went out and won the coin toss, deferred, so the midshipmen will get the ball to start the second half. From their own 40, Luke O'Connell throws across the middle. It's intercepted. A diving interception by Kyle Lewis, the senior from Neptune, New Jersey. So Caldwell answers back with an interception of their own, and they'll get the ball in their best starting field position of the night from their own 35-yard line. With 3:42 left to go in this first quarter, Navy with a 7-0 lead. Cale Zabrowski, the sophomore quarterback, throws down the right sidelines. Incomplete, too high for Arjun Petgrave. Dropped back to the Joe Bellino 27-yard line here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium on this beautiful track of field turf, brand new this season, put down late this summer just in time for the Navy midshipman football team to open the season against VMI. Zabrowski rolls right, throws on the run, gets the completion, out for the first down to Arjun Petgrave. So the senior makes his third catch of the game, already with 3 catches for 40 yards. The Cougars. Zabrowski flushed out of the pocket. On the run, he tucks it away. Out to midfield, thrown out of bounds by Jake Walensky, the senior from North Andover, Massachusetts. The team leader at Mike linebacker in tackles picks up his first tackle of the night, but not before Cale Zabrowski gets the first down on the scramble, getting away from pressure. 1st and 10 for the Cougars from midfield with 2:47 left in this first quarter. Zabrowski rolls right, throws to a wide open receiver out in the flat. It's Josh Smith, the sophomore from Parsippany Hills High School in Parsippany, New Jersey. Real versatile player for Coach Matt Sakis. Can play some quarterback, can play some wide receiver like he's now, and Could also punt the ball. In Navy territory, Caldwell trailing by a touchdown. They'll run it up the middle. And good yardage for Keanu Jimenez, the sophomore, 5'9" running back from Clifton, New Jersey, and Clifton High School for the first down. So a 6-play drive so far. Zabrowski, pitch and catch again on the corner to Arjun Petgrave. Out of bounds, stops the clock at the Navy 28-yard line. Caldwell really moving the ball well now. Looking for their 5th win of the season in this their final game of the Collegiate Sprint Football League season. This time, nowhere to go. Big tackle in the interior line by junior Mick Tabor, the 5'7" defensive lineman from Creighton Prep in Omaha, Nebraska. It'll be 3rd and 4 now. Coming up on a minute left to go in this first quarter. Fast-paced. The Cougars play with tempo. Zabrowski on the blitz, has to get rid of it. Completes the pass to the near sidelines. Josh Smith is knocked out of bounds. Owen Erker makes the tackle. Navy defensive back. And with now 59 seconds left to go, another first down on what has now been a 7-play drive, longest drive of the ballgame. Midshipmen bring the blitz. Zabrowski over the middle, caught, touchdown Caldwell. Darius Harrison, the senior wide receiver from Plainfield, New Jersey. But there is a flag down in the backfield. It might be roughing the passer. It is a personal foul on the midshipman, roughing the passer. So the play will stand. And with 42 seconds left to go in the first quarter, Caldwell has answered back on the 23-yard touchdown pass from Cale Zabrowski. And he has all sorts of pressure getting rid of that ball on the blitz. Nick Mallon, sophomore place kicker from Saddlebrook, New Jersey, just off of Route 17. His kick is away, and it's good. And with 42 seconds remaining in the first quarter, a tie ball game. Navy 7 and Caldwell 7. The touchdown catch by Darius Harrison on the 23-yard pass from Cale Zabrowski. And that was a long drive for Caldwell. 9 plays, 65 yards, but because they play with tempo and get up right on the ball, it only took 3 minutes. So with all that early momentum in this first quarter, Navy with the interception by Owen Erker, taking it into the end zone on the short touchdown run by Hunter Jennings, and then recovering the onside kick at midfield. The midshipmen really were putting an early hurt on Caldwell, but now the Cougars have answered back with that 9-play drive. And the midshipmen are going to have to do something big here to get some good field position off the kickoff because of the personal foul. Nick Mallon will be kicking from the star, the block end on the 50-yard line. Here in Annapolis, I'm Scott Wyckoff along with our Navy Athletics crew on Navy Athletics YouTube, our director Shane Bowler. He'll kick it in the end zone. The midshipman will bring it out into the end zone, deep out of the end zone, and a nice return up over the 26-yard line. Grant Sturkey brings it out of the checkered board end zone all the way out to the Joe Bellino 27-yard line. That's where the midshipmen will start this drive with only 37 seconds left to go in the first quarter. A first quarter that has seen Navy possess the ball for 8 minutes and 28 seconds, but then with that long drive, now 5 minutes and 50 seconds of possession time for Caldwell. Junior quarterback Luke O'Connell. Hands off to Hunter Jennings. Sidesteps a tackler in the backfield out to the 29-yard line. 6th carry of the ball game for the Navy junior running back. 28 yards so far to go along with that touchdown. 2nd down and 6. See if the Mids can get one final play here in the first quarter. Up quickly on the line. And they will. Hunter Jennings is the fake. Given out to the near side where Luke O'Connell holds on to itself. And that will do it for the first quarter. A first quarter that saw the Midshipmen take an early 7-0 lead. But now Caldwell has answered back. 15 minutes in the books. Navy 7, Caldwell 7. Back in a moment here on Navy Athletics YouTube. Navy men's and women's basketball season tickets are on sale now. Join us all season long at Alumni Hall as your men's and women's basketball teams look to take home the Patriot League Championship. Men's and women's basketball season tickets are just $100 each, or get the full combined slate for just $150. For tickets, call 1-800-US4Navy or visit NavySports.com. It is a huge night of college basketball here in the state capital of Maryland. On the yard at Alumni Hall along Outpass from here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. It is the 12th annual Veterans Classic underway right now. The first game, Tulsa and Rhode Island, then 8:30 tonight. The big one locally here as the Midshipmen take on Yale. All on CBS Sports. Big night of college basketball in Annapolis. The Veterans Classic. Midshipmen, first play in the second quarter, over the middle, complete to Hunter Jennings. Jennings with room to move, out to the 45-yard line. Only the 8th catch of the year for Hunter, but picks up first down yardage. Good play action for the Midshipmen. Call from first-year offensive coordinator Chuck Abate. Longtime high school coach in Chicago, the high school coach of Navy head coach Major Carter Reading. Bringing his high school coach to coach with him here in his second year as head coach of the same Navy sprint football team that Major Carter Reading played for here. 2016 Naval Academy grad, his second year. 12 wins, just 2 losses. The 33rd sprint head coach in the proud tradition of Navy football. The Midshipmen on second down, just into Caldwell territory. This the 80th season of Navy sprint football. Do the math, dating back to 1946. But Navy offensive coordinator Chuck Abate coached high school football for more than 20 years in Illinois. And he was current Navy head sprint coach, Major Carter Reading's head coach for 4 years at St. Charles East High School in Chicagoland. So a great opportunity for him to come here and coach at the Naval Academy. Another penalty on the Midshipmen, which cannot make Major Carter Reading of the United States Marine Corps assigned now to duty as head coach of the Midshipmen sprint football team. That's the 4th penalty for 35 yards against the Midshipmen. And right now, Caldwell head coach Louis Matsakis is getting an explanation on the far sidelines by our officiating crew, deciding whether he'll take the penalty or not. The line judge, Booker Mitchell, with the ball right at midfield, is poised to walk back into Navy territory. And it's also a loss of down, so that makes it even worse for the midshipmen. But I think we're going to have a little bit more of a discussion by our officiating crew. Navy Volleyball returns to Wesley Brown Fieldhouse Saturday, November 8th and Sunday, November 9th as they take on local Patriot League foes Loyola and American this weekend. Both games are slated to begin at 2 p.m. with Sunday's match against American being Senior Day for Navy Volleyball. Paco Labradors team. Another great year for them at West Brown. Here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, Luke O'Connell to the near side, connects to Jake Berger. Berger knocked out of bounds for a first down to the Caldwell 44-yard line. A nice pitch and catch to the near sidelines for the midshipmen, who, just like Caldwell, quickly get up on the ball. Berger will be split to the right side after that first down catch. Ball is fumbled on the exchange. Let's see who got it. On the exchange from Luke O'Connell to Hunter Jennings, it came loose. I think the midshipmen were able to recover it. Were they? A fight for the ball at the bottom of the pile. And Caldwell recovers. Second turnover of the night for the midshipmen offense. An interception and now a fumble on that exchange between Luke O'Connell and Hunter Jennings. Something we have not seen much of this year is turnovers for the midshipmen on offense, and already 2 in the first half. And good field position to start this drive for Caldwell at their own 45-yard line. 2 minutes played in the second quarter. Navy 7, Caldwell 7. Midshipmen took the early lead, and Caldwell late in the first quarter answering back. Zabrowski throws that one away into double coverage. His receiver on the far sideline was blanketed by Navy receiver defensive backs. That was Joey Cicatelli, the sophomore. Midshipman back off, showed blitz, send 4. Zabrowski out to the right side, good for a first down. Cicatelli with another first down catch. And back into Navy territory, the Cougars on offense. Offensive line doing a good job giving Zabrowski time to throw. Throws on the run across the middle, caught. Another first down. Arjun Petgrave with the catch. So this Caldwell offense finding its groove now, moving the ball effectively to the Navy 32-yard line. Handoff up the middle. Right back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Kurt McDougald, senior running back from Elizabeth, New Jersey, and Elizabeth High School. At 5 foot 5 inches, but he is built really stout. Again, a catch on the far sidelines. This time, Cicatelli right to the sticks. Might be just short of the first down. Kale Zabrowski gets rid of the ball very quickly and then gets up under center. Handoff up the middle. Good for the first down. McDougald to the 20-yard line, moving the chains again. With 11 minutes remaining in the first half. Caldwell. Zabrowski rolls right, throws on the run, connects to the 8-yard line. Petgrave with his 6th catch of the first half for 63 yards. Zabrowski, the sophomore quarterback from Verona, New Jersey, threw for over 300 yards last week in only one half of play. He is flushed out of the pocket, throws on the run, and it is broken up on the far sidelines. Good coverage by Seamus Carrasco on the throw from Zabrowski. 3rd down and 4 from the Navy 13-yard line. The midshipmen trying not to give up back-to-back touchdowns to Caldwell. Trying to make a stop. Movement along the line. The midshipmen come across. Pointing the other way is Mick Tabor, saying there was movement along the line. But not the case, as referee Joseph Marchio calls the offside against the Mids. And that will be now a 1st and goal for Caldwell from the Navy 8-yard line. They don't even huddle. They're going to get right on the ball as it's placed down there. Zabrowski in the pocket, into the corner of the end zone. Goes incomplete, out of bounds. Throwing into double coverage. Tucker Updahl and Sean Betway back for the midshipmen. Goes incomplete. 2nd down and goal for Caldwell. 10:24 remaining in the first half. Navy scored on their first drive of the ball game after the interception by Owen Erker. But since then, the momentum has been grabbed back by Caldwell, and they're deep now in Navy territory. Zabrowski rolls left, has a man open on the far sideline, cuts back into the end zone, touchdown! Josh Smith, wide open, cuts back at the 10, takes it into the end zone, and for the first time tonight, the Caldwell Cougars have the lead, scoring back-to-back touchdowns here in the first half. One late in the first quarter and one now early, 4 minutes and 45 seconds into this second quarter. And that offensive line of Kevin Campen, Matthew Lampert, Joe Alberti, Matt Quish, and Anthony Salzone have been doing a good job giving Cale Zabrowski an opportunity to throw the football. Zabrowski, 13 of 20 for 133 yards, both touchdown passes. That one right there to Josh Smith. And that go-ahead scoring drive for Caldwell, 10 plays, 45 yards, 2 minutes and 54 seconds on the 8-yard touchdown pass from Cale Zabrowski to Josh Smith. The point after kick good by Nick Mallon. And with 10 minutes and 15 seconds to go here in the first half, Caldwell out in front of Navy 14-7. The Cougars 4-3 on the season. They have won 3 of their last 4, and the only loss over that stretch was to an undefeated Army team that Navy will play next week at West Point next Saturday at Shea Stadium. But the midshipmen, though always knowing when that Army-Navy game will be, have to focus on this one now as they trail for the first time in a long time this season. The midshipmen are up against a deficit. Long kick by Mallon. Returning it is E.B. Denson. Denson comes to the near side, tries to turn the corner, and he trips up over the 25-yard line, dives ahead, to the 29. Had some real estate up the sidelines, but lost his footing, and that's for the Navy offense. He'll return to the field. Luke O'Connell, 6 of 8 for 55 yards. He does have the one interception. And so far, Hunter Jennings, 7 carries for 30 yards and that 11-yard touchdown run. Empty backfield for the midshipmen. 5 receivers up towards the line of scrimmage. Luke O'Connell will send Jennings in motion. O'Connell keeps it himself. So they try to spread things out. And O'Connell, 2 yards on the carry to the 30-yard line. First time we've seen that look tonight with the empty backfield. And the Navy quarterback keeping it himself. The 6th carry for 17 yards for the Navy junior quarterback. Hunter Jennings wrapped up at the line of scrimmage by Cole Levy, senior linebacker from Southern Regional High School from Manahawkin, New Jersey. Makes a nice tackle. Give Jennings a yard. 3rd and long for the midshipmen from their own 32-yard line. 9 minutes remaining in the first half. Caldwell out in front, 14-7. Back-to-back unanswered touchdowns for the Cougars. O'Connell, quick flare out to the right side. Caught, breaking the tackle is Grant Sturkey. But only getting back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th down, and for the second time tonight, the midshipmen will be forced to punt, and on will come senior punter Aaron Harris from Carlsbad High School in Carlsbad, California. The Cougars trying to flip the field. Joey Cicatelli with his red shoes back at his own 30-yard line. Harris lets the punt go from the Navy 21. Low line drive punt, but gets a good bit on it. And having to turn with Cicatelli, rolls all the way down to the 10-yard line. Outstanding effort by the senior who was honored before the game. Aaron Harris with a punt all the way down to the Caldwell 10-yard line. So just when the Cougars thought they were going to flip the field on the midshipmen, that line drive punt goes over the head of Joey Cicatelli. And now the midshipmen defense will try to do the same thing themselves, flip the field, give their offense the ball back in good territory. Cale Zabrowski, 13 of 20 for 143 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Throws to the far sidelines, connects. To Darius Harrison, who already has a touchdown catch tonight. And this quick-hitting offense for head coach Louis Matsakis, again, this time throwing to the near sideline and out of bounds to the 25-yard line is Arjen Petgrave, picks up the first down. A real timing offense. Short drop out of the shotgun. Zabrowski releasing the ball quickly. Just back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Cale passing for a school record 337 yards and 3 touchdowns last week in a come-from-behind win over Cornell. 305 of those yards coming in the second half as Caldwell rallied for 20 fourth-quarter points to beat Cornell. Rolls left, throws across the middle, incomplete. Carrasco and Betway on the coverage for the midshipmen. 3rd and 10 now. So the midshipmen looking to make a stop and get this ball back with 6:49 remaining in the first half, trailing 14-7. defensively coming into this one. The Mids holding their opponents to just 185 yards a game and a total of 59 points on the season. Zabrowski, the ball comes loose, a strip sack, and the midshipmen have it at the 3-yard line. Mick Tabor with the strip sack. And the ball is recovered by Ethan Estes, the junior defensive back, after the strip sack. And the midshipmen knocking on the door. The ball is spotted at the 4-yard line. So just like that, the midshipmen turn the tables on the Cougars here. Hunter Jennings inside the 3-yard line now. Jennings in the backfield with Samarian Threet, with Broderick Freeman not in the lineup tonight. 2nd and goal from the 3-yard line after the strip sack for the midshipmen. Luke O'Connell will be under center with the 2 backs behind him. Jennings gets the ball again. Hunter Jennings to the right side. Right into the arms of Liam Burke. Down to the 2-yard line. 1 yard on the carry for Hunter Jennings, who already has a touchdown run. They spot it at the 2-yard line on that far hash mark with 5:42 remaining in this first half. Midshipmen looking to tie the score after taking the early lead, then watching the Cougars score back-to-back touchdowns. O'Connell, play action, rolls right, keeps it himself, dives for the pylon! Touchdown, Navy! Luke O'Connell sold the fake handoff and then turned tail for that far corner heading out towards Rowell Boulevard and Taylor. And he dives and he takes out the pylon into the end zone. The midshipmen are a Ja'Cory Sutton extra point away from tying this one with 5:21 left to go in the first half. Hits the goalpost and goes through. So a little bit of luck for the midshipmen on the point after touchdown. Going off the goalpost and through. And with just over 5 minutes left to go in this exciting first half, the midshipmen have come back to tie it at 14 after the strip sack. The midshipmen taking it in. 3 plays, 4 yards. It took them 1:21, and it was the touchdown by Luke O'Connell. 3rd rushing touchdown of the season for Navy's junior quarterback. From Darien, Connecticut, the Hopkins School, 5'11". And he had to get to that pylon in the far corner of the Navy checkerboard end zone. Dove and reached and knocked it down and got the midshipmen back up on the board. It'll go through the checkered board end zone for a touchback. And this has been a game of momentum swings going back and forth and back again. 111 total yards of offense for the midshipmen. For Caldwell, 151 total yards of offense. The rushing game just not there for Caldwell, but 150 yards passing for Cale Zabrowski. 15 of 23 with 2 touchdown passes. Handoff, bouncing out to the right side. Kurt McDougald. McDougald picks up 6 on the carry. So just as I say they hadn't been running the ball effectively, on first down they do just that. 2nd down and 4 now. 5 minutes to go in the first half. Navy and Caldwell tied at 14. Friday Night Lights in Annapolis, senior night for the midshipmen. Zabrowski steps up and underthrows that one. Tried to find Josh Smith right in front of the Navy bench. Bounces off the new field turf here. Jack Stevens Field at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. It was really windy when the cloud rolled in late this afternoon. Those winds have died down, and it's not that cold out. In the mid-50s right now, and it will be dry throughout this one. The rain expected here in Annapolis right around 11 o'clock or midnight. The hand again to McDougald, and this time he gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard more. Jake Walensky, another tackle for the midshipmen. He is a tackling machine at that Mike linebacker. His 3rd tackle of the ball game. 4th down, they're going to go for it in their own territory. Zabrowski. Last time they did this, he dropped back and punted the ball, looking over to his head coach, Louis Matsakis, trying to maybe get the midshipman to jump. And Tony Verducci's defense does not. Disciplined. They stay onside, and it'll be a timeout on the field for the Cougars, deciding what they want to do. Limited seats are still available for Navy football's final scheduled home game next weekend, right here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, as the midshipmen take on South Florida on Saturday, November 15th. Kickoff here at 12 noon. A game that could go a long way in deciding the American Conference Championship right here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. A week from tomorrow, 12 noon, the kickoff. Navy and South Florida. For tickets, call 1-800-US4-NAVY or visit NavySports.com. That same South Florida team that beat the Florida Gators this season, that also beat Boise State, and along with the Navy midshipmen from the group of 5, still with an opportunity to make it to the college football playoff. Navy football team resting tonight in their hotel in Michigan City, Indiana, about an hour outside of South Bend, where they will play the 10th-ranked Fighting Irish tomorrow. And there's the first down, but the ball comes loose. The midshipmen recover. 3rd turnover of the ball game. Owen Erker already with an interception, now with a fumble recovery. And I think the officiating crew is going to discuss this one. It looked as though the ball was caught. The receiver made a football move. There is a flag down. Joseph Marchio. So it's after the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the midshipmen. So Navy will get the ball. 3rd turnover for the defense tonight, but all the way back at their own 41-yard line. But they'll take it with just under 4 minutes left to go in the first half. In a game of momentum swings, the momentum has swung back to the midshipmen, scoring the game-tying touchdown on a strip sack deep in Caldwell territory. Now a fumble recovery off what looked to be a first down for Caldwell. Hunter Jennings bowls ahead behind that big, stout Navy offensive line, running right behind senior center Kerry Johnson. Picks up 5 yards to the 45-yard line. Midshipmen with the ball. 3:30 remaining in this first half. The defense has stepped up tonight. A pair of fumbles and also an interception. That interception was by Owen Erker, and a fumble recovery by Erker too. Hunter Jennings tripped up as he goes up and over the 45 to the 46-yard line, setting up a 3rd and 5 for Navy. Let's see what offensive coordinator Chuck Abate dials up here. The midshipmen with the ball at their own 46-yard line. Under 3 minutes now as the clock is winding. O'Connell hands it off to Hunter Jennings. Jennings over midfield. Jennings almost broke it free. He does have the first down. Brought down on a shoestring tackle at the 44-yard line of Caldwell on the Navy first down. And that might have been a touchdown-saving tackle. One of the linebackers reaching his paw out and just grabbing the ankle of Hunter Jennings. But they move the chains with 2 minutes left to go now. Midshipmen trying to close out the half with a score to give them the lead. Hunter Jennings, 3 yards on the carry, stops the clock, and with that, the midshipmen will use the timeout. With 2 minutes left to go, it's the 2-minute timeout here. So no timeout taken by the midshipmen. Join us in Alumni Hall for the Army-Navy basketball doubleheader on January 24th, as well as the Navy men's basketball game versus Air Force on December 7th, all just for $30. We like to call it the CIC basketball package. The package also includes a ticket to the Navy women's basketball game versus Iona on December 7th. That's 4 exciting Navy basketball games, including 3 Service Academy games for one low price. For tickets, call 1-800-US4-NAVY or visit NavySports.com. Talking about Navy basketball going on right now, the 12th annual Veterans Classic. One of the most looked forward to early season basketball classics in all of Division I basketball, hosted on the Yard the last couple days. Yale, Tulsa, and Rhode Island getting a great view of what it's like to be a midshipman. Lunch in King Hall, checking things out at Bancroft Hall, the world's largest dormitory. And, of course, playing basketball tonight. Underway right now in Game 1 of the Veterans Classic. It's Rhode Island and Tulsa. 8:30 tip-off tonight. If you're out and about maybe, watching or listening to us on Navy Athletics YouTube, still have a chance to head over to Alumni Hall on the Yard to see Navy and Yale. 8:30 kickoff. Right now, 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Navy with the ball in Caldwell territory. Berger in motion to the right side. Hunter Jennings taken down for a loss. Edmund Anderson, 6'2" freshman defensive lineman from Coram, New York, and Longwood High School. A rare time that you're going to see Hunter Jennings tackled for a loss. Only 19 yards that he has had for losses this season. So with that play and 3rd and 11, Caldwell head coach Louis Matsakis will call the timeout. Mentioned earlier, he was an assistant coach for Mark Stoops at the University of Kentucky for 7 years before being named the head coach at Caldwell University last year. He's the program's 3rd head coach in its 9 years of competing in the Collegiate Sprint Football League. Matsakis served as a special teams analyst in Lexington while coaching for Kentucky from 2016 to 2022, and has also been an assistant coach at Kansas, Texas Tech, and the former home to Jim Tressel, Youngstown State. Jim Tressel, also the former president of Youngstown State, former Ohio State coach, is now the lieutenant governor of Ohio. So what a get. Louis Matsakis as the head coach for the Caldwell Cougars. 3rd and long for Navy, near midfield. Luke O'Connell, deep drop, throws it over the middle. It goes incomplete. Went off the back, I think, of one of the Navy offensive linemen. It'll be 4th down, and Aaron Harris will be called upon again to put a punt deep into Caldwell territory like he did on his last punt. Harris with 2 punts for 82 yards, averaging 41 yards to kick. That last one was 57 yards and inside the 20 to the 10-yard line. Takes a snap, gets it away. Fair catch at the 6-yard line. So again, special teams getting the job done for the midshipmen. A couple punts by Aaron Harris inside the 20-yard line. The last time he did that, it was the strip sack for the midshipmen that led to the Luke O'Connell touchdown to tie the score. And also the midshipmen, you might remember, early on, after taking a 7-0 lead, recovered an onside kick at midfield, but were unable to convert that into points. 1:43 remaining in this first half. Navy and Caldwell, and a good one, under the lights on this Friday night in Annapolis, tied at 14. Zabrowski from his own goal line throws out to the 10-yard line. Caught. Darius Harrison turns and taken down by Seamus Carrasco, who played sprint football with his brother Dante before Dante was commissioned last spring. Seamus moved from defensive back to roving linebacker. Zabrowski throws near side. Almost intercepted. Diving was Seamus Carrasco. It was caught. Arjun Petgrave stops the clock with 1:16 left to go and a first down. So the Cougars want more, even though they are deep in their own territory. 1st and 10 for Caldwell from their own 20-yard line. Zabrowski throws incomplete. Intended for Josh Smith. Stops the clock with 1:12 left to go. We'll give you a chance to take a little break, refresh yourself at halftime. Give me an opportunity to check some of the numbers. Enjoy my official drink of Navy Athletics. Pepsi up here in the box. Zabrowski throws over the middle. Caught, big hit. Wow. Seamus Carrasco comes up with a football after he took Josh Smith down to the ground, and that will stop the clock with 55 seconds left to go. Timeout on the field. What a hit by Navy's senior defensive captain, Seamus Carrasco. So it'll be 3rd and 5 with 55 seconds left to go, and the midshipmen call a timeout, wanting to get the ball back now. The latest in Naval Academy athletics is as close as your computer, tablet, or smartphone, thanks to NavySports.com and the newly designed Navy Sports app. You can get all the information you need on all 36 varsity sports and the midshipmen student athletes. Make sure to log on to NavySports.com or download the Navy Sports app today. Also, follow Navy Sports on Facebook, X, and Instagram to be kept in the know on all things Navy Midshipman Athletics. Scott Wyckoff, along with our Navy Athletics crew on Navy Athletics YouTube, our director Shane Bowler, our thanks to Navy Assistant Sports Information Director Chris Whitehead for helping us out, as he always does here on our Navy broadcasts, be it on Navy Athletics YouTube or on ESPN Plus. Splitting the games this year. I've had the opportunity to do a couple of the games this season, along with a great addition to the Navy Athletic Department, who's over at the basketball games tonight and the Yard, the Veterans Classic. Tim Nolan. You might be familiar with Tim, maybe vacationing or going off to the beach, coming to the Naval Academy from the Delmarva Sports Network and WBOC TV, joining the athletic department in all those videos you see at NavySports.com, interviews. Tim Nolan, man, big thumbs up. Getting it done. It's been great to have him on some of the calls this season for Navy Sprint football. So a 3rd and long. Midshipmen want to get this ball back. Zabrowski in the pocket. Steps up, throws on the run, across the middle, incomplete. Another hard hit by a Navy defender, this time Owen Erker. What a first half Owen has had on senior night. He's got an interception and a fumble recovery and a pass break up there. So it's 4th down now. And we will see the punter come on for Caldwell. Adam Picado, the freshman from Howell, New Jersey, in Howell High School. Back deep for the midshipman, Grant Sturkey, the senior from Knoxville. Back at his own 40-yard line. The ball up over the head of the punter. There's a flag down into the checkerboard end zone. The midshipmen recover for a touchdown. Seamus Carrasco recovering the ball in the checkerboard end zone. What a play for the midshipmen to end out this first half as the snap goes up over the head of Picado. The penalty was on Caldwell and recovered in the checkerboard end zone by Seamus Carrasco. He made a huge stick early in that series to help stop the Cougars, and then now recovering it in the end zone. The 4th turnover of the ball game for the Navy defense, turning into points, and just like that, trailing at 1 point, 14-7, the midshipmen will look to go into the locker room at halftime, up now 21-14 with 41 seconds to go in this first half. Wow, what a break for Navy. The long snap over the head of Adam Picado. He could do nothing but just race back into the end zone, and falling on it, coming up with the ball and racing through the checkerboard end zone back to his teammates on the bench, Seamus Carrasco, the senior linebacker from Germantown, Tennessee, outside of Memphis, from St. Benedict High School. What a senior night he has had so far, scoring the touchdown. I believe that is his first touchdown of the season. And I believe that Caldwell is out of timeouts. So we'll see what they do. Ja'Cory Sutton, deep kick. They'll try to get the return right up the middle. Marquise Gilliard out to the 27-yard line. A pair of flags down on the field. All sorts of turnovers in this one, leading to points. Navy starting the game with an interception that led to a touchdown, a strip sack leading to a Navy touchdown, and there a fumble recovery in the end zone. On special teams, all 3 Navy touchdowns coming off of turnovers. So this Navy defense, led by associate head coach and defensive coordinator Tony Verducci, picking up the offense on this night. Offense struggling a little bit for the midshipmen. 125 yards of total offense, well below what they normally do. The pass incomplete. Zabrowski looks on the far sidelines. Cannot get it into the hands of Josh Smith. Stopping the clock with 29 seconds left to go. After the penalty, 2nd down and 10 for Caldwell from their own 11-yard line. Zabrowski hands it off. Interior line tackle by Navy's Jensen Boyd, one of the 15 seniors being honored here tonight from Shafter High School in Shafter, California. 10 seconds left to go. Could be the last play of the first half. Zabrowski flushed out of the pocket. He'll throw on the run. Complete. Out of bounds is Petgrave, stopping the clock with 3 seconds remaining. But for Caldwell, a long way to go. And like they said on Smokey and the Bandit, a very short time to get there. The midshipmen are going to take their linebackers and defensive backs and move them all the way back to their own 35-yard line. Deep prevent defense now with only 3 seconds remaining in the first half. And Navy out in front, 21-14. Sophomore quarterback, Cale Zabrowski, will let it go one more time to the right side. He is being chased after, throws, and it goes incomplete, out of bounds. Tyler Meisenthal gave chase, and that will do it for an exciting first half of football here on senior night at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis. Halftime, Navy Sprint football. Navy leads it 21-14. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in about, I'd say, 15 minutes or so, give you the first half stats, and have for you what promises to be a big second half of football. Halftime in Annapolis, Navy 21, Caldwell 14 on Navy Athletics YouTube. Welcome back to Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis. Navy Sprint Football Senior Night. 30 minutes in the books. Navy with a 21-14 lead over the Caldwell Cougars. 80th season in Navy Sprint Football. All players must be 178 pounds or less. A tradition like no other here at the Naval Academy, dating back to 1946. A full varsity sport played here by the midshipmen. The midshipmen, total yards of offense 125, 56 passing, just 69 yards rushing. And in comparison to that, for Caldwell, 182 yards of total offense, 202 passing yards, and negative 20 yards rushing. So the Navy defense really bottling up that rushing game for Caldwell in this one. Luke O'Connell, 7 of 10 for 56 yards, 1 interception. Luke O'Connell does have a touchdown on the night, 6 of 19 in carries. And Hunter Jennings kind of bottled up a little bit in that first half by this Caldwell defense. The Navy junior running back, 15 carries for 48 yards. He does have a touchdown. His long carry was for 12 yards. Also caught a couple of passes in the first half. Cale Zabrowski, the current Collegiate Sprint Football League Player of the Week, 19 of 32 passing for 191 yards and 2 touchdown passes. He now has 6 touchdown passes on the season as he was really slinging it, moving the ball around effectively with a 123 quarterback rating in the first half. Luke O'Connell's quarterback rating, 97 in that first half. A first half that saw the midshipmen penalized 7 times for 60 yards. The midshipmen were 4 for 7 on third down. Wow, converting on third down in a big way. Caldwell, 5 of 9, but they were 0 for 2 on fourth down. Time of possession in the first half, 16 minutes and 49 seconds for Navy, 13 minutes and 11 seconds for Caldwell. And the difference, the reason the midshipmen are on top, 21-14 at halftime, turnovers. Caldwell turns over the ball 4 times. Navy turns 3 of those turnovers into touchdowns. The first interception on the first play from scrimmage of the ball game. Navy takes it down to the 2-yard line, bangs it in for the touchdown. Navy had the strip sacked by Mick Tabor. It was down to the 2-yard line. That was the touchdown run there by Luke O'Connell. And then just with under a minute left to go in the first half, the snap went over the head of the Caldwell punter, and Navy captain Seamus Carrasco recovered it in the checkerboard end zone. That's the score right now. Navy 21 and Caldwell 14. Defensively for the midshipmen, big first half for Seamus Carrasco. He leads the midshipmen with 6 tackles. Sean Betway had 5 tackles. Tucker Opdahl had 3 tackles, as did Christian Conley and Jake Walensky. Mick Tabor also at 3 tackles, and one of those was that strip sack that the midshipmen turned into points late in the first half. So the two teams back on the field. The midshipmen won the opening coin toss and deferred, so Navy gets the ball to start this second half. Navy 6-0 next week, closing out the season. If they win here tonight, they'll be playing for a CSFL championship at Shea Stadium at West Point against the Black Knights of the Hudson. The Army Black Knights also undefeated at 6-0 this season. Caldwell, this is their season finale. They have won 3 of their last 4, 4-3 on the season. Second year for head coach Louis Matsakis, as it is the second year for Navy head coach Major Carter Reading. What a record Carter has at the Naval Academy. 12 wins and just 2 losses in his 2 seasons. Second half is underway here in the state capital of Maryland, and the midshipmen are going to get some good field position as flags are thrown as the kickoff goes out of bounds, and the midshipmen are going to start things out. Get things going, they hope, here in the first half. Offense stymied a bit in the first half. Again, only 125 yards of total offense, 56 yards passing, and 69 yards rushing, well below the Navy averages to start things out. But now in this second half, with the ball going out of bounds and the kickoff, Navy gets it at their own 35-yard line. A familiar sight. Out of the shotgun, it's Luke O'Connell, and off to his right hip, classmate Hunter Jennings. Berger in motion. Handoff up the middle to Jennings. Jennings carries the pile out towards the 40. Making the tackle for Caldwell, Cole Levy. Not before 4 yards on the pickup by Hunter Jennings. Talking to Hunter at practice this week. Couldn't say enough about these 15 seniors that are being honored here tonight on senior night, saying that they came into this season really taking the culture of Navy sprint football up another notch, out to a 6-0 record this season. O'Connell holds it himself, breaks free to midfield and into Caldwell territory. Faked the handoff to Hunter Jennings. Luke O'Connell to the Caldwell 47-yard line on the pickup for the midshipmen. And when you've got a runner who averages 153 yards a game like Hunter Jennings does, when you fake it to him and draw all that attention and hold it yourself, Luke O'Connell picking up big yardage there. 7 carries for 30 yards for O'Connell. Berger split to the left side. Hunter Jennings up the middle. Jennings breaks tackles to the 40-yard line. 7 yards on the carry for Navy's junior running back from Linton, Indiana. Also ran track in high school. Over 2,000 career yards at Linton Stockton High School for the now junior 5'11" midshipman. In is Manny Walt at tight end, the senior from Las Vegas, Nevada. Top of your screen, Grant Sturkey. The run up the middle. Inside the 40, very close to the first down for the midshipmen. So there's a injured Caldwell player there on his knees is Kevin Campen, senior. Being looked at there. The Kids Shipment Club is the official kids club of Navy Athletics. For just $25, your membership includes exclusive gifts, free tickets to Navy sporting events, a birthday card from Bill the Goat, and more. To register, visit NavySports.com. Glad to have you along tonight here on Navy Athletics YouTube. I'm Scott Wyckoff with our Navy Athletics crew, led by our director, Shane Bowler. Our thanks to Navy Assistant Sports Information Director, Chris Whitehead, helping us out with our broadcast here tonight. Our final sprint football broadcast of the season on behalf of our crew, including my play-by-play teammate, Tim Nolan, who's at the Veterans Classic over on the yard tonight at Alumni Hall. Thanks for joining us. Glad we could bring you these games not only on ESPN+, but like we're doing tonight, on Navy Athletics YouTube. Big one for the midshipmen tomorrow. South Bend, Indiana. 98th meeting between Navy and Notre Dame. 10th ranked Fighting Irish. Undefeated since losing the first 2 games of the season. They've run off 6 straight wins. Midshipmen only with 1 loss. That was last week to North Texas. Hunter Jennings. The fake to him again. Held on to by Luke O'Connell. 5 yards on the carry. So again, Jennings is the decoy, and O'Connell as the ball carrier. O'Connell, 8 carries for 40 yards now. 3 minutes played in the second half. Navy driving the ball down the field. Off the kickoff. So far, 6 plays for 40 yards. Into Caldwell territory. Hunter Jennings breaks free up the middle. Jennings down to the 10. Jennings to the 5. Jennings in the end zone. Touchdown. Midshipmen. A classic Hunter Jennings touchdown run of 27 yards. Spinning, turning, breaking tackles right up the middle. And the midshipmen have a 2-touchdown lead, taking the opening kickoff of the second half down the field and into the end zone on the touchdown run. The second of the ball game, the 12th of the season by Hunter Jennings. 33 yards. Ja'Cory Sutton on for the extra point, and it is good. And with 11 minutes and 42 seconds left to go in the third quarter, the Midshipmen have now scored back-to-back touchdowns, one late in the first half and one on the first drive here of the second half to take a 28-14 lead. That scoring drive, 6 plays, 65 yards, 3 minutes and 18 seconds. The rushing touchdown by Hunter Jennings. 12 touchdowns on the season to lead the Midshipmen. And like I said, that was classic for Hunter. The way he took it up the middle and broke tackles and finds his way into the end zone. Only a junior, first team, all Collegiate Sprint Football League last year. He'll be first team this year, and I would put my money down early on him for being first team next year. One of the finest running backs in a long tradition of outstanding running backs for Navy Sprint football over the last 8 decades. Sutton down to the 12-yard line. Yves Jean brings the ball up over the Joe Bellino 27-yard line to the 28, and that's where the Caldwell Cougars will get the ball to start the second half. What a first half it was for Cale Zabrowski, building on that 300-plus yard performance last week in the win over Cornell for Caldwell. 19 of 32 passing for 191 yards and 2 touchdown passes. The sophomore, coming of age late in the season, these last 2 games of the season for Caldwell. But he finds his Cougars now down 2 scores. Movement along the line. Everybody points the other way. 11 minutes, 36 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Offside on the Midshipmen. That is the 8th penalty for 65 yards against Navy tonight. Not the way the Midshipmen wanted to come out and play in that aspect of the game leading into the big Army-Navy game next week. 1st and 5. The handoff up the middle to the 35-yard line. Kurt McDougall, the senior running back from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Powerful running at 5 feet 5 inches. The offside was on Gabriel Areola. 2nd and short now. He'll run it again. And he is stopped short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and a long one at the 37-yard line. This Midshipman defense coming up big in the first half, causing 4 Caldwell turnovers and turning 3 of those turnovers into touchdowns. And then the offense finding its way, taking the opening kickoff of the second half. All the way down the field on the 33-yard touchdown run by Hunter Jennings. They will hand off again, and I don't think they got it. The 3rd straight run by Kurt McDougall, and he is short of the first down. Big stop by Tucker Updahl, the junior from Westchester, Pennsylvania, Unionville High School. 4th down and a yard to go. We saw this in the first half where Caldwell got up on the ball and then punted it. This time it looks like they're going to go for it. Zabrowski holds it himself, He's going to run. He's not going to get there. The midshipmen get the ball back on downs as they bring down the Caldwell quarterback, Cale Zabrowski, short of the first down. So the midshipmen on fire here to start the second half, taking the opening kickoff, the length of the field for a touchdown, and now stopping Caldwell on downs in Caldwell territory. Midshipmen get the ball at the Caldwell 36-yard line. What a stop by Tony Verducci's Navy defense. They have come to play tonight. You can really call that the fifth turnover, per se, of this ball game. Luke O'Connell tries to turn it into points. Hunter Jennings with a stiff arm, run out of bounds on the near sidelines by Javon Hazel, the freshman defensive back from Orange, New Jersey. Attended East Orange High School. Again, Caldwell Cougars head coach Louis Matsakis really doing a great job recruiting in New Jersey, in their own backyard. Some of the top undersized high school players finding a place on the Caldwell Cougars sprint football team. Sprint football, all players must be 178 pounds or less. They weigh in twice a week. The last time, 40 hours before the game. Here's Hunter Jennings breaking free again. Jennings over the 20 to the 16-yard line. And while Caldwell had Hunter's number in the first half, he has come to life here in the second half. 21 carries for over 100 yards now and 2 touchdowns for Hunter Jennings. 1st and 10 for the midshipmen from the Caldwell 16-yard line. 115 yards make it for Hunter Jennings. Off the right hip of Luke O'Connell. He will run again. This time into the arms of Jorge Gonzalez, the senior 5'10" Cougars defensive lineman from North Bergen, New Jersey, Cliffside Park High School. There is a flag down at the line of scrimmage. 8 minutes, 11 seconds remaining. Midshipmen already up by a pair of scores, trying to make it 3. And at one point in that first half, Caldwell took all the momentum with a 14-7 lead, scoring 14 unanswered points. But then the midshipmen forcing turnovers and turning the ball over on downs on the first drive of the first half by Caldwell. That's the reason for this great field position. So offsetting penalties on the unsportsmanlike conduct. Tom Gonglik, the sophomore offensive lineman from Philadelphia. I think he might be coming out now. Oh, they're sending in the jumbo package. Jake Rodriguez getting in there on the offensive line for the midshipmen now. The mids break the huddle. Over the ball at the 16-yard line. 8 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Under center is Luke O'Connell. Hands off to Hunter Jennings. Bounces it out to the right side. Jennings turns it upfield. Was going to get a stiff arm out, but then turned the corner. A big block behind the play from Samarian Threet, who's getting to see some time out there tonight for the freshman in place of sophomore running back Broderick Freeman, who is not playing tonight. He's in sweats on the sidelines. So 3rd and 1 from the 7-yard line. So the midshipmen need to get to the 6 for a first down. They're 7 yards away from a touchdown. Hunter Jennings down inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. Touchdown saving tackle by Dean Fiore, sophomore linebacker from Woodbridge, New Jersey. but not before Hunter Jennings reaches out to the 2-yard line. Already a 6-play, 40-yard drive for the midshipmen. Hunter Jennings ahead. Jennings into the end zone. His third touchdown of the ball game. And the midshipmen have gone up by 3 scores here in the third quarter. A 2-yard touchdown run by Hunter Jennings. His 13th touchdown to lead the midshipmen this season. With 6:53 left to go in the third quarter. What a job by not only the Navy junior running back, by that offensive line led by senior captain center Kerry Johnson, opening up those holes. And you just need a little bit of room for Jennings to find it, and finding his way between the goalposts on the extra point is Ja'Cory Sutton. And with 6 minutes and 53 seconds left to go in the third quarter, the midshipmen opening up a 35-14 lead. With all the offense that we've seen for the midshipmen here in this third quarter, it's really been the defense that put Navy in this position, creating 4 turnovers in the first half. Also, basically a turnover here in the third quarter when they forced the Cougars off the field on downs in Caldwell territory. So back-to-back drives, back-to-back touchdowns for the midshipmen. 2-yard touchdown run by Hunter Jennings, his third of the ball game. 6 plays, 36 yards, 2 minutes and 49 seconds for the touchdown scoring drive for the midshipmen to go out in front, 35-14. What has turned into a really beautiful night here in Annapolis. The winds have died down. 58 degrees when I checked at halftime. Rain due here about 2 a.m., and then it's going to be near 70 degrees here in Annapolis tomorrow. Pretty good field position for the Cougars to kick the ball here. The ball comes loose. Is it a fumble? Midshipmen think they've got it. It would be the 5th turnover of the ball game on special teams this time. Fighting at the bottom of the pile for the football. And it's going to remain, I believe, with Caldwell. Nobody really knows. Navy hasn't sent their defense out on the field yet. The officials are meeting at the 32-yard line. Now here comes the Navy defense. So pretty clear that they believe that the officials are going to call it Caldwell ball. Joseph Marchio, referee. The ruling on the field is that the runner was down by contact, so Caldwell will keep the ball. And then a penalty on Navy. Nathan Keast, the junior linebacker from Alexandria, Virginia, is called for the penalty. And that'll put the ball all the way out to the Caldwell 47-yard line. So what looked as though it might have been a Caldwell fumble now turns into great field position for the Cougars. Trailing 35-14 here in the third quarter. Dabrowski on the run, tucks it away. He's got enough for the first down and gets out of bounds in Navy territory. This is only the 6th game of the season for Cale. And really didn't see a lot of time in the previous 4 before last week when he came in for a half and threw for over 300 yards. He's going to be sacked, throws it ahead. Is it an incompletion? Yes, just got rid of it. Great pursuit by Christian Conley, the junior linebacker from Antioch, California, in Heritage High School. Again, enlisted in the Navy for 2 years before he went to the Navy prep school, and now has found his way into a great spot here on the Sprint football team as a member of the brigade. Another pitch and catch to the near sidelines to Darius Harrison. Steps out of bounds at the Navy 35-yard line. As Zabrowski continues to throw the ball well. He's got that quick release and also manages the pocket well. Stepping up, sliding to the side like he did there. Moving along the line, and that'll be 5 against Caldwell. That'll be the 4th penalty for 25 yards against Caldwell. But what has been a problem tonight for Navy, though this is not a penalty against the midshipmen, Navy has 9 penalties for 80 yards. Very unlike this 6-0 midshipman squad. So it sets up a 3rd and long for Caldwell. Trailing Navy 35-14 with 5:44 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Dabrowski throws interception. It's going to be a pick 6 for the midshipmen. Down the far sidelines. Cutting it back into the end zone. Touchdown. Sean Betway, the junior from Altoona, Pennsylvania. The pick 6. Taking it to the checkered board end zone. And the midshipmen have opened this one up. 41-14. The 5th turnover of the ball game. While the other 4 led to points, this one is points. Sean Betway, the interception for a touchdown for Navy. That is Sean's first touchdown of the season on the interception. The line drive extra point by Ja'Cory Sutton is good. Also, the first interception of the season for him. Jumped the route, intercepting Cale Zabrowski, the second interception of the ball game for the midshipmen. Sean Betway intercepted that ball at the Navy 32-yard line, returns it 68 yards to pay dirt, and with 5 minutes and 31 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter, the midshipmen have blown this one wide open, leading 42-14. The midshipmen 21 unanswered points here in the second half. And again, it is the defense that has shined here on senior night for Navy, creating turnovers and finding the end zone now on the pick 6. Navy looking to go to 7-0 before the star game, the star match against West Point at Army next week, next Saturday at Shea Stadium. The kickoff. And great special teams play. An open field tackle for Sam Stotler, the junior linebacker from Martinsburg, West Virginia, and Spring Mills High School. Open field tackle on the return. So right now, Navy can do no wrong. Caldwell returns to the field offensively at their own 21-yard line. Having watched Navy score 28 unanswered points in the ball game, 21 of those here in the 3rd quarter after scoring late in the first half. Navy looking to carry momentum over from tonight's ball game, senior night, honoring their 15 seniors, into next week's CSFL title game at West Point. Zembrowski throws to the near sidelines. That one kind of hanging out there. Caught by Darius Harrison. Seamus Carrasco on the coverage, along with Angelo Pearson, junior defensive back in the ballgame from Abington Senior High School in Williamsport. 3rd and 5 for Caldwell. Zembrowski rushed out of the pocket again. Ball's up for grabs, and it goes incomplete. Seamus Carrasco thought he might have gotten that one on the pass breakup and tip for the interception. 4th down. The Navy defense continues to shine here in the second half, forcing Caldwell to punt. Adam Picado, who saw the long snap go over his head into the end zone for a Navy touchdown late in the first half, now back at his own 16-yard line. Grant Sturkey back for the midshipman, takes it on a bounce. Sturkey tries to turn the corner to the 40, where he's brought down. Special teams tackle by Kyle Ducarteret for Caldwell, and the midshipmen with good field position from their own 40-yard line. Navy men's and women's basketball single game tickets are on sale now. For just $10, you can cheer on this year's Patriot League preseason favorite men's and women's basketball teams. For tickets, call 1-800-US4-NAVY or visit NavySports.com. Here in Annapolis tonight, I'm Scott Wyckoff along with our Navy Athletics crew on Navy Athletics YouTube. Our director is Shane Bowler, doing a great job bringing you these great shots of a great night of football in the state capital of Maryland. That's Jennings in motion. The hand up the middle, and that'll be a tackle for a loss for this Cougars defense. Damian Tavares, sophomore linebacker from Pasco, Washington. Loss of 3 on the play. 2nd down and 13 for Navy. 42-14. Navy falling behind 14-7. Has won 5 drives to score 5 consecutive touchdowns. 35 straight points. Big run for the midshipmen. Wyatt Kite, freshman running back from West Jefferson, Ohio. Picks up a bunch of that yardage. So 3rd and 4 now. Out to midfield. It all started with that touchdown run by Luke O'Connell. And then the fumble recovery in the end zone by Seamus Carrasco. Back-to-back rushing touchdown by Hunter Jennings, and then Betway on the pick 6. Out to midfield, and the indications from the line judge will be 1st down. The midshipmen needed to get to the 50 to move the chains. And they will. 1st down for Navy with 2:25 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Ball is smack dab on the 50-yard line. A great ceremony before the ball game. Parents, family, friends, fiancés, all down on the field, honoring the 15 Navy seniors who are playing their final game here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium tonight. Second carry of the night from Wyatt Kite. 4 yards on the carry. Under 2 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Navy now 236 yards of total offense. 180 on the ground. Finding their way here in the second half. finding their way to a 42-14 lead. Second down and 6. Up the middle, another breakaway, down deep to the 20-yard line. Big run by Samarian Threet, the freshman running back from Buffalo, New York, and Cardinal O'Hara High School. Breaks free down to the 20-yard line. Big first down run by the sophomore, getting plenty of time in the backfield tonight without Broderick Freeman in uniform. First and 10 for Navy from the Caldwell 20-yard line. With time winding down here in the third quarter, less than a minute to go. Handoff up the middle, down to the 5, to the 1, diving for the end zone. Did he get in? Touchdown, Navy! Wyatt Kite, the freshman, finds the end zone. And the midshipmen are up now 48-14 with 27 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Second touchdown of the season for Wyatt. And a busy night for Ja'Cory Sutton. Splits the uprights. And the midshipmen 49-14 lead with 27 seconds left to go in a first half for a time. And it looked like the magic was going to continue for the Caldwell Cougars. Winners of 3 of their last 4. 4-3 on the season. Their only loss over that stretch to undefeated Army. And really throwing the ball well in the first half was Cale Zabrowski. But the midshipmen just building on some big defensive plays, turnovers, into points, and have blown it open now. 49-14 with 27 seconds left to go in the first half. Hey kids, looking for a great way to celebrate your birthday? Have your party at a Navy sporting event with the Bills Birthday Party Package. Your special day can include a pregame party featuring treats from Chick-fil-A, Fisher's Popcorn, and Nothing But Cakes, as well as game tickets, a video board recognition, and more. For more information, call 1-800-US4Navy. Line drive by Sutton now. Picked up at the 15-yard line. Coming towards the near sidelines. Out to about the 28. And that's where the return will end. Kyle DeCarteret, the freshman wide receiver from Elizabeth, New Jersey, getting some play. Wyatt Kite, 20-yard touchdown run for the midshipmen. Quarterback change now for Caldwell. Jamil Lawrence, the senior quarterback from Jersey City, New Jersey, playing in the final sprint football game of his career. A nice job by head coach Louis Matsakis to get the senior in, to get some final snaps in his career. And what a career it's been. And as the cannon sounds here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, we head to the fourth quarter with Navy leading 49-14. I'll be back in just a moment here on Navy Athletics YouTube. 15 minutes left to go in this one on this senior night 2025 at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis. Navy Sprint Football. 15, like 16 Navy seniors if you count them. 16 seniors. Julian Armstrong, Jensen Boyd, Elijah Brown, and a sack by the midshipmen. Give the sack to Ethan Estes, the junior defensive back from Las Vegas. Transferred from College of Southern Nevada. Seamus Carrasco, Owen Erker, Brandon Fletchell, Aaron Harris, Kerry Johnson, Peter McKissick, Tyler Mezenthal, Jake Rodriguez, Bobby Rudsky, John Shetty, Grant Sturkey, Manny Walt, Jake Walensky. Over the middle. It goes incomplete and hit hard as he released the ball was Lawrence. Pressure coming from senior defensive lineman Jensen Boyd from Shafter, California. Has had a big night on his final game here on these hallowed grounds of Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis. On the facade of this historic stadium, all the battles from the U.S. Navy and United States Marine Corps. The punt is away. Midshipman will let it bounce at midfield. Takes a decent roll for Caldwell down to the Navy 42-yard line, and that's where the midshipman will return to the field. 55 seconds into this fourth quarter, out in front of Caldwell, 49-14. A series that has been dominated over the years by Navy. Navy has won all 6 games in this series since 2017, right when Caldwell was making its way into collegiate football. Navy with a big 72-0 shutout here in Annapolis. The next 3 games were in West Caldwell, New Jersey, with Navy posting those 3 wins in a row before a couple back here. A discussion on the field by our officiating crew is assigned by the Collegiate Sprint Football League. With that flag down at the 45-yard line. So this time a 15-yarder against Caldwell. Maybe a little frustration showing out on the field on special teams. So Navy will get the ball at the 44-yard line. 5 penalties for 40 yards now for Caldwell. Quarterback change for the midshipmen. In now, freshman quarterback Rhett Seipolt, 6'1" from San Francisco, Stuart Hall High School. So that'll do it for Luke O'Connell tonight. 7 of 10 for 56 yards passing. 1 interception. He ran the ball 8 times for 37 yards and a touchdown. So a big night for the junior on senior night at quarterback for the midshipmen. So the freshman in now. Hands it off to another freshman, Samarian Threet. And he continues to keep the feet moving down close to the first down. And they're going to move the chains. Quite a run by Threet. So the midshipmen getting some of the younger players in now. In this program that not only excels each and every year, an example of that, the 12-2 record for Navy second-year head coach Major Carter Reading, but they also are a developmental program. Many of these players that you're going to see here tonight in the fourth quarter will be the future stars in coming seasons for the midshipmen. Flags will fall before the play gets off. Rhett Seipold, the freshman quarterback. False start on the midshipmen. They'll walk it back 5 yards. "12 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in this ball game. On this night where 16 Navy seniors have been honored in a big way, not only by the way they have played, but the way their teammates have played with them. Pitch and catch out to the 35-yard line. First completion of the ball game to Peter McKissick, the senior wide receiver from Memphis, Tennessee, and White Station High School on his senior night, makes the reception. That's his third reception of the season. He'll be split left to the bottom of your screen. Seipold keeps it himself, looks to break free on the right side, does, turns the corner, dives ahead over the 30 to the 29-yard line. Great burst of speed by Rhett as he turns the corner on the quarterback keeper. It'll be 3rd and 6 for the midshipmen after that penalty from the Caldwell 29-yard line. Seipold breaks from the huddle. In its center now for the midshipmen, Andrew Bondurant, the freshman from Elkhart, Indiana. Seipold across the middle, complete. And it's a first down. Making the catch, John Malatesta, a freshman wide receiver from nearby Arlington, Virginia, Washington Liberty High School. So some plebes making a name for themselves on this drive for the midshipmen with 10 minutes remaining in the ball game. Rhett Seipold on in relief at quarterback for Luke O'Connell. Hands up the middle, breaking free, down to the 12, inside the 10 to the 6-yard line is Samarian Threet. So another first down for the midshipmen and another big play by a freshman on the night where the plebes late in the game are excelling, where before the game, the firsties were honored. Plebes, freshmen at the Naval Academy, firsties, seniors. First and goal for Navy from the 6-yard line. Threet again, turns it upfield, into the end zone, touchdown, midshipmen. Samarian Threet takes it into the end zone. And the dominance here in the second half continues for the Mids as a bunch of young freshmen members of the brigade excel on a drive that started at the Navy 42-yard line and the rushing touchdown. 7 plays, 58 yards, 4 minutes and 57 seconds. And Navy now has a 56-14 lead. A game that saw the midshipmen go to the locker room at halftime up 21-14. And since coming out of that locker room here in the second half, have never looked back. 7 consecutive touchdowns from the 5:21 mark of the second quarter to the 9:08 mark here of the fourth quarter. So the midshipmen finding their way late in that first half, taking the lead into the locker room, and now getting some of their younger players a chance to get into this ball game. They'll enjoy it tonight, but then it is back to work as Navy men's sprint football team. They will have the biggest game of their careers a week from tomorrow at West Point against the Black Knights of the Hudson. The Army-Navy game, sprint football style, at Shea Stadium to win not only the Navy Star Series presented by USAA, but also the Collegiate Sprint Football League Championship. And though he didn't mention it specifically, when I spoke with Hunter Jennings this week, he talked about the goal this season was to take the culture that this team has built over the years up another notch. Last year, 2 losses to Army, one in the regular season and one in the CSFL championship game. The only 2 losses in the 2-year head coaching career of Major Carter Reading. These seniors took it upon themselves to put the goal to once again come back with their dominance over Army that they had seen in 3 consecutive seasons before then. And they will have a chance 1 week from tomorrow, that opportunity against a very good Army team. Kickoff at 1 o'clock at Shea Stadium on the campus of the United States Military Academy at West Point. The Star game, not only for the CSFL championship, but for bragging rights in the Army-Navy game, an opportunity for every one of these players to win that game, to get their Star Series sweater, wear it around the yard proudly. Talked about the highest honor to go to a Navy athlete to be selected their captains, Seamus Carrasco and Kerry Johnson for the sprint football team. But one of the other high honors for an athlete is to win a star and to wear that letter sweater around the yard. Here's Jamil Lawrence winging it to the near side, connects. Beautiful pass to Darius Harrison. Harrison with a touchdown catch in the ball game. Jamil Lawrence, a senior quarterback from Jersey City, New Jersey, with a rifle from the far hash mark to the near sideline. So now Caldwell with the ball in Navy territory with 7:21 left to go in the ball game. The Navy 47-yard line. Lawrence from the gun. In the pocket. Rolls out right now. Points downfield. Heaves it down to the end zone. Up for grabs. Knocked out of the air. Great defensive play by TJ Silvernail, sophomore defensive back from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Forest Hills Northern High School. See, knocked that ball down as Lawrence kind of throwing it up for grabs, trying to make something happen. Navy with the win here tonight will go to 7-0 with 1 game remaining, the Army-Navy game next week at West Point. For Caldwell, their season will end at 500 at 4-4. There's a flag. That's going to be defensive pass interference on the midshipmen. And I believe it'll be called on Angelo Pearson, the junior defensive back from Williamsport and Abington Senior High School. So the 15 yards is from the line of scrimmage. So it'll be marked at the Navy Joe Bellino 27-yard line. little bit farther down the field is the Roger Staubach 12-yard line. The two Heisman Trophy winners for the midshipmen, Joe Bellino and Roger Staubach, honored on the field here at Jack Stevens Field. Lawrence on the run, rifles it near side. Did he get his feet down? Yes! Making the catch is our John Petgrave. Walking the tightrope along the sidelines, making the catch for the first down. So tomorrow night's Navy Notre Dame game, not only broadcast live on NBC Sports at 7:30, you can also catch the game on the Navy Radio Network with the voice of the midshipman, Joe Miller, analyst Mike James, sideline reporter Keith Mills. Into the end zone, incomplete. Yours truly, Scott Wyckoff, the studio host on the Navy Radio Network. Our coverage locally in Baltimore begins at 5 p.m. on WBAL Radio. The Navy Radio Network broadcast begins at 6:30. Kickoff at 7:30. Navy at 7-1 against 6-2 Notre Dame in South Bend at Notre Dame Stadium in the 98th meeting between the midshipmen and the Fighting Irish. Down to the 10-yard line, caught, breaking a tackle, spinning back, unable to turn it upfield. But making the nice catch is Joey Cicatelli. Big night for Cicatelli. His fifth catch for 51 yards. So his senior quarterback, Jamil Lawrence, in now. He hands in the backfield to Kurt McDougald. McDougald down inside the 10-yard line with 5:25, the clock rolling. Midshipmen, a little winded on defense. We'll take the timeout. Navy men's and women's basketball season tickets are on sale now. Join the midshipmen all season long at Alumni Hall as your men's and women's basketball teams look to take home the Patriot League Championships. Men's and women's basketball season tickets are just $100 each, or get the full combined slate for just $150. For tickets, call 1-800-US4-NAVY or visit NavySports.com. Going on right now at Alumni Hall, on the yard, tipping off just moments from now in the Veterans Classic, the Navy Midshipmen and the Yale Bulldogs. You can hear it on the Navy Radio Network. You can also watch it on CBS Sports Network. Big night of basketball. The 12th annual Veterans Classic going on right now on the yard at the Naval Academy. Fourth down and first down yardage. McDougald, the senior from Elizabeth, New Jersey, punches it down to the Navy 6-yard line with straight up 5 minutes remaining in the ball game. Mathan Edmonds, one of the young defensive linemen in there now. Pass is incomplete. The sophomore from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and Greenwood High School. Also in defensively, James Wright, the sophomore linebacker from Berwyn, Pennsylvania, and Archbishop Carroll High School. And in on the defensive line, Damian Breedlove, the junior defensive lineman from Dallas, Texas. McDougald, he is stood up and hit hard. And making that stick was Breedlove. Good hit. So it's 3rd and goal now from the 5-yard line for Caldwell. The Cougars trying to get their first points of the second half. Lawrence rolls right, throws on the run. Incomplete. At the feet of Kai Descartes. So it's 4th down and goal from the Navy 5-yard line. Midshipman trying to end it right here. Here's Lawrence. The fade in the end zone. Incomplete. The midshipmen hold the Cougars on downs. So a good drive by Caldwell, engineered by senior quarterback Jamil Lawrence, but all for naught as the pass, the fade into the corner goes incomplete, and the midshipmen will get the ball back 1st and 10 from their own 5-yard line. A season that started all the way back on September 20th for the midshipmen. On the road in Ithaca against Cornell, a 40-7 win. Since then, the midshipmen rattling off wins at St. Thomas Aquinas, here against Mansfield, Chestnut Hill, and Malloy. On the road last week against Penn. Up the middle, the midshipmen continue to pound the ball. Wyatt Kite on the carry. And a 1st down. So Navy will move to 7-0. Traveling to play in the Army-Navy game at West Point next Saturday, 1 o'clock the kickoff. Caldwell, their season ends tonight at 500 at 4-4. Another quarterback change in for the midshipmen. J.P. Bobo, the junior quarterback from San Clemente, California. So Bobo getting some time now, on in relief of Seipolt, who was on in relief of O'Connell. So Navy's second-year head coach, Major Carter Reading, getting some of the guys who work hard in practice. And a real point that was made this week when I was at practice is the best defense that Navy plays all season long is the defense they practice against. The blue shirts, the Navy defense, led by associate head coach and defensive coordinator Tony Verducci. Tackle for a loss. Big play by Edmund Anderson, the freshman from Coram, New York, and Longwood High School. Loss of 6. 3rd and 16 for the midshipmen. But yeah, really making that point that this Navy offense throughout the year has been tested the most by any defense by the Navy defense in practice. And because rosters are limited to 70 players for sprint football, you don't have 3rd and 4th team and scout units. Your starters are out there in practice, and that really means a lot. It's a tradition like no other at the Naval Academy. Sprint football, as some of the nation's top undersized high school football players have found a college football home here on the yard on a very unique team that you've seen playing tonight with quite a history on the gridiron dating back 8 decades at the Naval Academy. Players were first limited to 150 pounds. Now the sprint football weight limit is 178 pounds, and players are weighed in twice a week. In its 80th season, sprint football dates back to 1946 here at the Naval Academy, as former President Jimmy Carter, who passed away last year at the age of 100, was a sprint football player at the Naval Academy. Navy's all-time sprint football record with the win here tonight, 415 wins, just 77 losses over 80 years, and 9 ties. an 84% winning percentage. Navy football, sprint style, quite a tradition here at the Naval Academy. After the 2-minute timeout, the midshipmen keep it on the ground. Looking at some of the stats, 345 yards of total offense for Navy, 278 on the ground. Hunter Jennings, 25 carries for 131 yards, 3 touchdowns on the night for Hunter Jennings. Luke O'Connell, 7 of 10 passing for 56 yards. On the other side of the ball, it was Cale Zabrowski, 21 of 37 passing for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, but also 2 interceptions. Aaron Harris, his punt is away, drives another one over the head of the returner, all the way back inside the 25-yard line, and taken down on the return is Justin Cherry, the freshman defensive back from Piscataway, New Jersey. One thing that Navy will be working on during the week, those penalties, 11 penalties for 100 yards for Navy. Navy dominating in time of possession, 31 minutes and 38 seconds to Caldwell's 24 minutes and 22 seconds. Navy forcing 5 turnovers defensively. One of the big defensive performances of the season against a very good Caldwell offense. There'll be quite a celebration after the game for the 16 Navy seniors who are honored here tonight. Their family and friends joining them down on the field after they sing the Navy Blue and Gold for one final time here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis. 25 seconds left to go. Ball being run out towards the 49-yard line. And barring a penalty, this looks like it will be the last play of the ball game on the last home game for the 16 Navy seniors here on senior night. And that'll do it. Was there a timeout? So Caldwell calls a timeout just before the clock runs out. So they're going to put 1 second back on the clock. So just a few more minutes before the celebration begins here at the corner of Taylor and Rowell Boulevard in Annapolis. Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. One last time for these seniors before they hit the road for their final game of their careers. Next week, 1 o'clock, the kickoff at Shea Stadium on the campus of the United States Military Academy on the Hudson River at West Point. I want to thank Navy Assistant Sports Information Director Chris Whitehead for helping us prepare for tonight's broadcast. There is a flag thrown. Lawrence will run the ball, and he will run out of bounds. We'll see what the penalty is. Clock is run out. See if there'll be any time put back on the clock if the penalty is against the mids. We're starting to see the Caldwell team walk out on the 50-yard line. The officials discussing the penalty. Joseph Marchio, head of this officiating crew, is assigned by the CSFL. So that'll do it. The final score, Navy 56, Caldwell 14, as the 16 Navy seniors go out in fine style here tonight, winning their final game of their careers as members of the brigade. Sprint football players, their final home game here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis. Navy goes to 7-0. Caldwell ends their seasons at 4-4. And Navy will play for the Collegiate Sprint Football League Championship next week in the Army-Navy game at West Point, kickoff at 1 o'clock. That'll do it. Final score, Navy 56, Caldwell 14. For our director, Shane Bowler, and our entire Navy Athletics crew, this is Scott Wyckoff. Have a good night, everybody.